When to use an array versus an enum. On the left we have an array list, and on the right we have an enum. An enum is not able to add or subtract items, but the code is much more concise. An array list is able to add or subtract items from the array, but the code can be much more extensive. Index of an array list. In the example that we used, we didn't have an index, but we did something similar to an index to remove the items from the array list from backpack and put them into a different array list and then put them in the trash. So we first started by getting the contribution, amount, and category of each item, and then separating those items based on that information into different cases. So this case at the bottom in the switch statement is for F, and that would be for faith. So it first adds the faith compared to the item amount into ingots of faith to our inventory. Then it takes that item and puts it in a different array, which is the toRemove.add array. And that array is basically like a trash can. So we move that item to the trash can, and then it is deleted from the backpack, and it also will be deleted from the toRemove once we delete that. So that's what we did for our index. Try, catch, and exception. So these are used to find running errors and logical errors in the program. And in my example, we see that the code is being called from the game menu view, and it's being called into map control, and then it's also calling a function called move, which calls map from the model layer. And then from there we get to see that if there was an error, then it would take that error from map and send it back up into move, and then back up into the map control, and then back up into the game menu view. And with try, catch, and exception, this exception takes it from that map, which was the base function, and then it takes it all the way up to game menu view, as seen in the illustration. And that's how try, catch, and exception work. Character stream versus byte stream. Character automatically adapts to local and is ready for internalization, whereas a byte is more used as like a low-level I/O. So it's better to use character if there are any types of character data in your code. Character data to external file. So in this one I have a couple of images that we used. The first one starts in game menu view, and we have a save game function. So the save game function, it starts off with this console print line, which is enter the file path for where the game is to be saved. So it outprints that, and it has a place for the user to input their file path that they want to be printed, and that will print where they want it to be printed. And it gets that information and puts it into the string file path. Then passes that information along to game control.saveGame, and then we go over to the game control, and it basically goes through the system and enters in that information, the file output stream, the FOPS, and the object output stream, so what the information is that it needs to be outputted, and then it output.writeObject game. So basically we're going to put the game in that object, and then we're going to output it in that file stream to the location where it's supposed to be, the file output where they had entered the file path. So that's how that works. Guys, so we don't have a whole lot of time, but just a quick description of the game. Basically the point is to take your character, answer the questions in the game to be able to obtain items. Once you get those items, you can smelt those items down in a place called the Forge, and they will give you ingots of that certain category that those items are. So if you have a CTR ring and you smelt it, it gives you 2 ingots of faith, and when you get 10 ingots of faith, then you get the shield of faith. So the purpose of the game is to get different armor, and you can do that by answering the questions in the game, which are in each location, and then answering the bonus question, which is in the temple menu. And the temple menu gives you bonuses to various categories, not just one. So let's go ahead and start this out, and I'll give you a feel for the game. So we'll go ahead and say start new game. We also have start existing game and how to play the game. So we'll just go ahead and dive right in. New game. Choose Zoram. He gets +3 to faith. That's awesome. We've got a how to play the menu, or how to play the game menu, inventory, view all the game items, show the map. We'll go ahead and try that out. Show the map. You're not on the map yet, so let's go ahead and move to a location where we can answer a question. So we're going to move to column 1, row 1. And we're going to go ahead and answer the question in the current location. So that's A. And it says, why did Lehi want his family to eat of the fruit of the tree of life? According to 1 Nephi 8:10-12. To make sure that his family had enough food to eat, to share the same joy that he felt when eating it, or C, because he had already eaten enough. So we'll go ahead and say C because that's not the right answer. And sorry, the answer is incorrect. Try again. So we're going to answer that question again. And B. So now we get a correct CTR ring was added to your inventory. Awesome. So let's go ahead and check that out in our inventory because I'm excited to see a CTR ring. There's our CTR ring. It's just a simple ring. So we can get out of inventory items and we can go ahead and move to a different location. So let's go ahead and move to 4, 5. Why not? And go ahead and answer that question as well. In what ways did Laman and Lemuel respond? A response to their father's vision differ from Nephi's response. A. Our father is crazy and he thinks he sees visions. We will go and do the things which the Lord hath commanded. Or C. I wish I was playing Xbox. That one's going to be A, so we'll throw that in there. Correct. Chunk of wood was added to your inventory. So let's go ahead and check out that inventory one more time. Because chunk of wood, that is weird. So it gives a description of what the chunk of wood was. And a chunk of wood from the fire which Alma and Amul escaped unharmed. So it's a cool chunk of wood. So basically we have a couple items here. Let's go ahead and go to the forge. Set up the forge. We're going to smelt these items. Smelt them away. So we have ingots of faith. We got 2 ingots of faith and 2 ingots of honesty from that. And we had a bonus already, so I have 5 ingots of faith and 2 ingots of honesty. So that's basically how that works for the forge. So let's go ahead and again say we'll print character to a file. I don't know. And then we can say save game. So we've already printed our file, our character to a file. Let's go ahead and save the game. We can say user intelligence whoops desktop log file dot txt. So we're going to take this game and we're going to save it on the desktop in the log file text, and that would be cool. So it says that the game is saved. Here's the location that it's saved to. So let's go ahead and close this out, and we can look for this text log file. And here's the game all saved in there. It's pretty sweet. Close it up, and that's basically how we do it.